Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you are getting to see me in my day pajamas today. I was downstairs now, just for reference, it's 11 a.m. and I was getting ready to come up and record the podcast and thinking to myself, well, I can't possibly record a video today because I look like shit. So this will just be an audio. And then I had a word with myself because this is real life, right? And what I'm about to talk to you about today is real life stuff. And today I don't feel like putting makeup on. In fact, today would have been a waste of time putting makeup on. Certainly mascara, because the last 24 hours have been somewhat of a cry fest. So this is me showing up authentically. So if you're just listening to this, you don't have to go to YouTube and have a look at me in my day pajamas, but I'm just putting it out there that actually showing up for me looks like this today. Showing up for my listeners looks like this today. Day pajamas. I mean, who doesn't love day pajamas, right? No bra, no makeup. It is what it is, right? Because I'm going to talk to you about the difficulties of pivoting through life when life throws you curveballs. And it comes back to the point of why I use the mantra just for today all the freaking time, and why it's so important to give yourself the grace of just for today as well, and show yourself kindness and compassion when life gets a little bit heavy, because life feels very heavy for me right now. And many of you, I've shared this before, that my dad has an incurable form of lung cancer. And whilst we knew he had lung cancer a few months ago, we were told last week that it's incurable, and we don't know how long we have left, but however long we have left will never ever be enough. And it got me thinking about my business, because I work for myself, which is a blessing in times like this, because it means I can fit in hospital appointments, and where my dad needs to be. I'm just around the corner from him. My brother's quite close by as well. So we are, sharing the load, so to speak. But I don't like using that term because my dad isn't a load. In fact, everything I'm doing, I will do in a heartbeat. But it means that I can work in a way that's authentic to me, and I can step back when I need to as well, because it's really important for me to honour my experiences, but also work, because I love what I do. I love my work is one of my purposes in life, and not doing it depletes my energy levels, but doing too much of it when life events are tricky also depletes my energy levels. So I have to be very boundaried with my work, and I am working with clients at the moment, but those clients are aware of what's happening in my life, and they also know me well enough to know that should I have a day where I can't be what they need me to be, they're also very respectful of that because of those boundaries. So I was thinking about, when was it? Just before the summer began, the school summer holidays, I was at a networking group. Actually, it was a networking group that I run, the Friendly Networking Group in Chelmsford. And we had a really great speaker, and she was talking about goal setting. And I love setting goals. I love at the start of a month thinking, what's this month going to look like? What am I going to achieve? What am I going to talk about on my podcast? All of these different things. I really love to do that kind of creative, inspired action. And I asked her the question, what if you have all of these goals, but life won't allow you to fulfill them? From a business perspective, from a personal perspective. And even though what she said wasn't a new thing for me to hear, it was still a new thing for me to hear in that moment, or it was certainly what I needed to hear. And what she said was, just take the steps that you need to move you towards that goal. So the goal could be, I don't know, if we're talking about me and my work, or if you oh my goodness, Steph, get your words out. For those that you are listening that have set yourself a goal, let's say a personal goal, because a personal goal of mine is to decorate one room in the house at least once a year, one room. So this year we decorated the hall, stairs and landing. And if I had my way, we would also be doing my bathroom, the downstairs toilet. So they're kind of goals that I set myself to achieve in the year. And obviously they interlink with my business because my income will generate the cash to be able to do those things. But what if life dictates that you have to step away from that goal and you can't bring that into fruition, but you still want to hold on to that goal? You know, with my work, coming back to the point of, I still want to work with clients during this difficult time that my family are experiencing. There will come a time where I say absolutely no work right now, and I will wait for that moment, and I will be very active in that moment to be able to say, no, this, I need to stop. But for me right now, it fills my cup, like I said. So how can I manage that? How can I continue to work doing something that I love and something that I'm really very good at, whilst also being able to be present for my dad and my brother and my children and all the different things that, and myself, most importantly, be present for myself? There's a balancing act here. Now, I love to be busy and I love to see lots of clients through my week, because I get to support them and help them move forward in their life, which gets my creative cogs turning. Because when I'm working with clients, it inspires me to talk to you. It inspires me to think about what can I create for women that might be in a similar situation. You know, earlier this year, I've done 1 day Pause and Reconnect. Last year, I did Pause and Reconnect Women's Circles, which was, you know, we meet once a month for 3 months, spend the day together with up to 6 women. You know, all of those things I've created as a result of the conversations I have with my clients. And I made the decision in May this year, which is when we got my dad's diagnosis, that I didn't have the capacity for that. I absolutely did not have the capacity to be able to hold space for more than one woman at a time. But there's still this part of me that's going, but we love doing this. When can we do this again? So what can I do to help myself? And I guess I'm sharing this with you today because life has the unexpected element to it, right? I was just having a conversation with Grainger in the kitchen, and I was having a moment, and I was talking to my brother on WhatsApp, and I had a bit of a emotional release. And I said, the hardest part of all of this is that I'm watching my dad pass away in front of me. And it's shown me that life can take turns like this. And actually, I expected, my parents to get really, really old. And when they passed, they would have passed in their 90s. And actually, my dad would be 77 this year. And to me, that's still very young. And I said, I just feel like the rug's been pulled out from underneath me. And he said to me, but none of us know when any of us are going to go. And I know that to be true because I've lost people. I've lost my sister. I've lost a stepsister. I've lost grandparents in the past. I've lost my dog. That was an extremely painful experience as well. So none of us do know when life is going to throw us these curveballs. So how can we keep moving through life? Because life still keeps turning. And I was pondering the other day, coming back to the point of being lucky that this is, that I work self-employed. And I've just had this realization that this almost feels like not so much like a podcast episode where I'm giving you words of wisdom and inspiring you and sharing my tools and techniques. This feels like a diary entry, really, actually, like a journaling entry for me. So I hope that this lands okay and that you can take something from this, because this is very cathartic for me to also be talking this through in my head. But, the Just for Today mantra yesterday was my saving grace. And I lost my train of thought just a minute ago. I don't know where I was going. So I'm just going to continue with whatever's coming into my head right now. But Just for Today kept me going yesterday when life felt really heavy yesterday. I had to take my dad to see his partner. I didn't have to, I wanted to. I drove my dad to see his partner, and left him for a few hours. And in that space of time, reality slapped me in the face. The reality of what I was doing. My dad isn't capable of driving anymore. And the reality that my dad has gone from a strong, capable, independent, fiercely independent man since May to now being somebody that's very dependent on his children, somebody that has aged almost 20 years in a short space of time. And driving home from dropping him off was a very painful experience for me. And I reached out to my circle, my very, very close circle, to tell them I was having a bad day, to bring in the level of support that I needed in that moment. My husband is a blessing because he knows what to do in those moments, and how to support me in those moments, and gave me the space that I needed. And yesterday I allowed myself to feel anger, real, pure, seething anger and absolute devastation at the same time. And I allowed myself to express those emotions in the safe space of my bedroom with the door firmly closed. Because yesterday was a bank holiday, so the children, my adult children were home as well, and everybody was kind of, let's just give mum some space. And it was in that space that I was able to really allow myself to feel. And I put a post today in my WhatsApp group that was all around self-care and self-love, and allowing ourselves to feel is very much a form of self-love and self-care, because it's saying your feelings matter. I'm now going to allow myself to express them in a way that feels safe in doing so for me. Because I, at the end of the day, I'm the only one that's in my own head and the only one that can honour those emotions and those feelings. So just for today, I said to myself, just let yourself feel. Shut everything off, turn everything off, step away from your phone. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I gave myself permission to feel in a way that felt authentic and safe for me. And I allowed that just for today. And I went to sleep quite early last night, and read my book for a little while before I went to sleep. And then this morning I feel lighter. The situation's still the same. The reality is still the same. Nothing changed overnight other than I feel lighter. As a result, I don't feel that these emotions are stuck in my body. But I do feel very tired. I do feel exhausted, because it's huge what's happening right now. Huge. These changes that are occurring as we get older, and you're watching people that you love, whether it's a parent, an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent, whatever, transition in your life from a position of influence and authority to almost becoming, in my experience, childlike, and the roles reversing. And that is something that I feel is like a grieving process. So yeah, I don't know. I started out recording this just thinking talk and the inspiration will come, because I am a true believer in being authentic to myself, but also to those that listen and those that work with me, and leading by example. Like I tell my clients all the time to allow themselves to feel. In the feeling process, we heal. And I can't heal from something that's ongoing. But yesterday I was in pain. Today I feel less in pain, if that makes sense. So I guess my message for you today is, just for today, what can you allow yourself to feel that you are hiding from, running from, scared of even? You know, we can be really scared of our emotions. Like if I allow myself to feel that opens a can of worms. How can you, just for today, create a safe environment for you to begin the process? It doesn't even have to be a finished thing. I'm trying to think of a word for that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying. It comes back to the original point that I was making. Here we go. I can bring it back around now. And come back to that conversation with the coach at the networking group I was at. The goal is sometimes not necessarily where you want to get to when you begin the process. the goal for me yesterday was to simply allow myself to release the emotion that was caught up in my chest and caught up in my throat. There is no end in sight for that, because this is an ongoing process with my dad. And of course there will be an end to that, but then it begins another process. So it's gifting and being kind and being compassionate with yourself. And I will take another step towards that each day. And that step may look like I'm going backwards, but I'm not, because actually when I'm feeling and I'm in the depths of my sadness or my anger or my grief even, because we can grieve when a person is still here, it's still a step forwards, because I'm allowing myself to do that. So just for today, please, I ask of you to take one thing. If you can't find anything from this, to take this one thing. Create a safe space for yourself, just for today, to honour your feelings and show yourself kindness and compassion. Until next time.